Unfiltered Podcast, episode 26. Hi, Aubrey.
Hi, Philip.
Welcome to the table.
Thank you.
What's going on?
Oh, just living life.
Living life?
Yeah.
It's all you can really do, right?
Right.
Just live life.
Yep.
Because if you weren't living life, you wouldn't be living life.
Right.
Right. That was deep right off the bat. You're welcome for that one. Lindsay, say what up.
What's up?
What's up? We've got red behind me. I don't know. Hope it doesn't make me look angry, but
I mean, I pull that out of people sometimes. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll see how this goes then, this next hour or so. I don't look angry to you, do I?
No.
Or aggressive? Or
No.
Red's a very aggressive color.
Do I?
But
I'm
no.
hot pink and green.
No, it's good.
Summer.
It's summer.
Summer.
Indeed.
Look at tan.
Attitude.
Yes.
Attitude.
Yes. Get it.
Something like that. That was my Mean Girls right there. I think. Lindsay Lohan, Circa Day 2004.
Oh, gotta love it.
Oh my gosh, I learned last week that we've been saying Lohan wrong the whole time. Her last name is pronounced Lone.
Lone.
No, it's not.
Oh yeah.
What?
Did
I
she
feel
come-
like I need to look this up to verify it again,
I was
but
gonna
I'm
say.
pretty sure her last it came out last week. She said, "Hi, my name's Lindsay Lone," and everyone was like, "Excuse me?"
So it got mispronounced years ago, and she just went
Seriously, yeah. Ugh.
with it. So now she's
That's cringy.
backtracking and being like, "Hey, this is my
Right.
actually."
Right, because she's gone through recovery from all of this stuff, and she's like, "My name's Lindsay Lone," and we're all like, "Excuse me."
25 years later.
Right.
No time like the present to get
Yeah.
it right. Jeez.
That's awesome.
Lindsay Lohan. Well, none of this. I asked you a second ago, and I said none of this intimidates you, right? Lights and cameras and all that, and you were like, "No." Yeah,
Not at all.
you said it like that. What does intimidate you?
Nothing.
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 Not a thing.
No.
Do you find people are often intimidated by you instead?
All the time.
Because no, you're fearless, and
Yeah.
normally people don't know how to react to that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
get called a mean girl quite a bit, actually,
Makes sense.
until they get to know me.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they realize you're all hot pink and green and
Rainbows and unicorns.
yeah. That's the real you.
Yes. That's the deep down me.
Don't be distracted by this surfacey stuff
Right.
that your eyes see.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
As that do you have stories about a relationship that has formed and gone really deep and great later, but was kind of stymied by surfacey stuff?
I've actually been told by most of my best friends that when they first met me, they're like, I will never be friends with her because they were scared of me. I had one girl tell me that she thought I would punch her in the face, and I laughed hysterically because I was like, I've never punched anybody. I mean, my brothers, but that's different.
Right. You have to defend yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, I was like, what? I actually kind of got hurt a little bit by it because I was like, everybody thought that? They just kept counting. Oh, yeah, this person and this person. I was like, okay, my first impressions suck. But then they're all like, but then you started talking and we realized you really are nice.
Right.
So,
Oh my gosh.
okay.
So hearing that, did you change anything just about yourself, or did you try to well, since I know this is what's being assessed, did you do anything different or?
I actually talked to somebody that I look up to a lot about it because I was kind of upset about it for a little bit. I was just like, oh my goodness, I'm putting out this whole vibe that I didn't even know. And she looked at me and she said, honestly, Aubrey, she said, that is just, you're confident. And she said, and when people are intimidated by you, it's on them and not you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
And so, no, I didn't change.
Yep.
I just, it's if people don't like me because of that, then that's on them.
I think that's a very mature, you had to have grown into that. That's not necessarily something that is organically there, because when
Yes.
people tell you these things, I think our instinct is to, oh, I'm sorry, and then cater to the world and
Right.
apologize and I hurt you, I'm so sorry,
Yes.
instead of letting the world grow up to where you're already at.
Yeah, I call myself a recovered people pleaser.
Same. What's up?
Yes, hey. Yeah, no, I was definitely a hardcore people pleaser growing up. And I feel like as an adult, I realized like that's just not going to happen. I cannot make everybody happy.
Right.
And I can't be happy if I'm constantly trying to live up to other people's expectations of who God made me. And so.
Right. That's not the mission.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and a lot of the women I surround myself with that I look up to, they're all like very calm and like, I feel like they are the epitome of a Proverbs 31 wife. Like, I'm like, this is who I want to be, but they're all very quiet and meek. And I'm not. So, but I also, I had a reality check. I really felt like God was just like, but you can be this and still be that. And so I just had to kind of accept the fact that I'm not a quiet person. And I do believe that God made me to make a difference.
Right.
So.
Right. There's strengths in that. There's skills and things that you're going to be able to do.
Right.
That you wouldn't be able to do without that certain set of.
Yes, for sure.
I'm trying to even remember how we met the very first time. I'm trying to remember. I don't have any feelings of intimidation.
Thanks.
Yeah. So.
Thanks.
Right.
I think it might have been when I came to you
Just
for an
at
adjustment.
the office. Sure.
I think.
Yeah. Right. And then normally people who come in and they're the Oilers.
Right.
The Oilers. Or they've got like I'm just here because I know my C1. I think you came in and you said something like that. And I was like, yes.
Yes.
Someone who it's not all about, it's not all about pain. It's someone who takes care of themselves, someone who knows what they need. And
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I do remember you looking at me like, what?
You're right. You're not the average person that comes through the door.
Right.
You know? So it's good. It's good. Yeah, because you're a chiropractic pro at this point.
I do love my chiropractors.
It's good. It's really good. And then after that, I know there was some church. We did church.
Yeah.
There was the office, but then
I
don't know. I think your husband has harassed me enough over the years.
He's known for that.
Right. But then I also realized like he's not harassing me. It's just all in jest. It's what he's saying to me. He doesn't actually.
I always tell everybody, I'm like, if he's being nice to you, you should probably be scared.
Right. Yes.
If he's giving you a hard time, it's because he likes you.
Oh gosh.
So they just rebuilt my truck. My truck had issues.
Yes.
And it's an 09 F-150. I love it. I think it's the bomb. But I hadn't seen him since it came to their shop. And the first thing he said to me when he saw me was like, bad choice, Philip. Bad choice. I walked in just to like see what the damage report was. And that was the first thing he said. And I was like,
awesome.
Okay, great. Next time, run it by Michael before you buy a vehicle.
Yep. But you're going to get crap about that. I just hope you know.
Which is why I didn't do it in the first place, because I'm going to I'm going to avoid this crap giving session that I'm about to walk myself into. And then I got it on the back end anyway. So.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, he is.
That's
Michael
why we
is,
work well together, because
you and him.
Yeah, because I can take his sarcasm.
Yes.
So
yes.
I always say, I'm like, 90% of the things he says are not serious, but he says it very serious. And so people are like, he's so mean. I'm like, but he's not. He's actually pretty big softy. I always tell him, I'm like, you are one of the most sensitive guys that I know, but like, you don't sound like it. Like, everybody thinks you're so mean. And then they say that and he's like, what? They think that about me? Honey.
Ooh. I like this.
Yeah. No, I hope you use that.
Oh, 100%.
That's when I know my like best friends are like good, because like they'll just give it right back. So.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah. They don't even like flinch when he says something.
Because they know the real Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm getting to that point. I've stopped flinching. Like the game 2 for flinching. Like he can't get me anymore.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I think growing up with the 4 brothers prepped me for him. So.
Right. That sounds like a household of adventure.
It was fun. It was fun.
You got some tough skin. You grew some tough skin from that. Yeah.
And I was the dreaded middle child. So, you know.
That means you're difficult.
So I was not spoiled.
Sure.
Surrounded by brothers.
Yes. But any of my brothers, it was always funny because like people would joke like, oh, you have 4 brothers. So when you start dating, and all of my brothers are like, I don't need to defend her. They knew.
Yeah. He trained her.
Yeah.
She fought us
good.
off. Yeah. She's going to be fine.
Yep.
Did you do a lot of dating and like bringing guys back to the brothers, or was it?
No, my parents were very strict on that.
Sure.
And I actually always told myself I didn't want to date in high school. So, because I did not want to stay where I was, and I didn't want a boy to hold me back. So,
Did you grow up in Greene County?
no. I'm originally from Kansas.
Kansas.
All right. And then when my mom got remarried, we moved to Iowa. So I was 5 when we moved to Iowa.
Right on.
But that was down in Southwest Iowa.
Okay.
And then I didn't move to Jefferson until I was 19.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, Jefferson's home now.
Yes.
Yes. But it wasn't always.
Never. Yeah. No, not growing up for sure.
When did it become home?
When I met Michael.
Which was, how old were you then?
20.
20. Okay. So you were here 18, 19, a year or two.
Yeah, no, I did not think I'd still be here when I moved here.
Sure. Right. First impression of Jefferson, Greene County was...
It was just another small town to me.
Sure.
So it was just not a big deal. But
What moved you to Greene County in the first place?
so I was a missionary associate when I graduated high school.
Okay.
And one of the pastors that I worked with was from Jefferson. And I traveled all over Iowa setting up like campus missions, and we did school assemblies and all that. And one of our speakers was from here, and he offered for me and the other missionary associate to live in his basement. He like had a 2-bedroom apartment. And we traveled so much that it didn't really matter where we lived as long as it was in driving distance of Des Moines. That was our home office. And then I started going to the church out here, and yeah, lo and behold, one of the girls I became really good friends with was Michael's neighbor.
Okay.
And so she set us up. And then I was like, dang it. Now I can't leave.
Now you're here.
Now I'm here.
Because he's very well rooted in the area.
Yes.
Yeah. Greene County, Jefferson, home.
I don't think he would ever leave, which is fine. I love it now. I genuinely do. This feels home to me.
Home.
Yes.
So how big did you come from in Kansas? What type of a town or a place?
Olathe, it was Olathe, so it's huge.
Olathe.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that near Kansas City or?
Yeah. So let's see, Overland Park, like all of it. I feel like it's kind of like Des Moines with like Waukee and Ankeny, like they're kind of just all big something.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's Olathe.
So a lot of people see Jefferson, Greene County. There's nothing to do Friday, Saturday night. They just sit at home bored. Right. But what keeps you busy?
We like people.
People.
We actually have a set Friday night date with 2 of our friends, like in their families. So it is a set date every Friday night. They all come to our house and we play cards, and the kids all play and be crazy. And summertime, it's typically at the campground, but
okay.
Friday nights are always at our house in the winter.
Like Spring Lake campground or just
typically,
somewhere?
Yeah. The kids and I live out there. So.
Right on. Fun.
Yeah.
Because you have a camper, RV,
yes,
something
we
like
just
that.
bought it last year. Yes.
Nice. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I feel like most of our good friends have campers, so
that's something
not fun.
not guilty. Don't have one.
You should. It's a good time.
I'm gonna have to stretch to get there. I've said it multiple times. I'm a small town townie kid. I didn't camp. I think I've slept outside on the ground like once.
Okay, but this is like bougie camping.
Bougie.
We have like
depends
a nice
on the
camper.
RV you have. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a brand new camper.
Okay.
So it's very clean the way I like things.
Yeah.
We're not glamping though. We're not at that point. Or
I'd call it glamping.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So you have okay. It's a mobile home.
Yeah, pretty
outdoors.
much. Yeah.
Yes. It's just easier to get outside and
my kids would be outside 100% of the time. So, and I love to be outside. So Xander fishes, Isla just plays with chalk and we ride bikes, and yeah, it's just fun.
I think camping, and I think I just watched this Netflix documentary called The Alpinist.
Okay.
And it's this guy that does free soloing rock climbing. And he eventually they just live in their tent in the woods. And I'm like, no,
that does not sound fun to me.
Yeah.
No.
To the point where I just I'll pay for your first 2 months of an apartment. Like I'll help you put a roof over your head. But they're
I
just
like air conditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And heat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think camping, like pitching a tent
No.
out on the ground. And so when you say camping,
No.
no.
This is bougie camping.
Bougie camping. Now that's
Glamping.
right. Where'd the word bougie even come from?
I don't know, but I like it.
Same.
I don't even
Same.
understand.
It's fancy.
Spell it.
Mm-hmm.
BOUJEE.
Yeah.
Bougie.
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 Not bougie. Bougie.
Bougie.
You
Yeah.
even have
I've
to say
even
it
been
bougie.
saying it wrong.
Yes.
Right. It's like in like New Orleans area or like BOUJEE. It's that
BOUJEE.
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 There you go.
Now it's going to be a word in your vocabulary.
The first time I heard it, I was like, what did you just say? He was a friend he was living down south. And I was like,
It's rubbing off on you. It made its way to Iowa.
so here we are. Yeah. 10 years later, after it started in the bayou.
I don't know if that's where it started, but like that's the
sound
like
that
the
it
type
makes.
of letter combination.
Oh, man. Well. Where do we go from here?
Right?
BOUJEE. Well, Aubrey, you've had a BOUJEE impression on me, so
Oh, well, thanks.
I just, after getting to know you over the years, it's your depth of person has become apparent to me. And two things that happened recently that made me want to ask you on. One is you won the lifestyle challenge at the rec center.
I did.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Thank you.
And I'm all about healthy lifestyle, healthy living, because I don't think anyone should ever be limited by their health.
Agreed.
If your health is limiting you from doing what you want to be able to do with the people you want to be able to do it with, I want to help fix that for you.
Right.
You know? And on your Facebook profile, you have just healthy living advocate in there when it's like you get to tag yourself about who you are. Christ follower, praise hands, wife, ring, mom of 2 kids, good kid, healthy living advocate, athleisure wear is life with a little cartwheel emoji.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, that's fun. I mean, thanks for the use of the emojis.
Right.
That was good.
I do love a good Bitmoji and emojis and GIFs, all of them. There you
So
go.
bougie, yeah. But healthy living advocate, that really stuck out to me. Tell us, what is that
Oh.
about?
Well, I wouldn't say I was raised in like a super like healthy, not that we like were bad. It was just, I feel like this is more of like a today's thing. And when I was pregnant with Xander, I then started to care about like what was going in and on my body, which I feel like a lot of moms do. It's like, you don't always care. Or I shouldn't say care. Maybe you just aren't aware of the things. And so then, somebody introduced me to essential oils, and that just dove me into this big old, like healthy living. And I cut out all toxins, and then it really dove me into food. And we didn't let our kids have dye, still don't. I mean, it happens sometimes, but it's just not a daily thing for me. And so I wanted my kids to have whole foods, and then it was like okay, but I'm saying no to my kids, but I'm not saying no to me. And so then I had to, it's just one of those things.
That's a funny reality, and I've done that too. Where I've been like, don't let Ellie eat that as I put it in my mouth.
Exactly. Like let me hide that in the cabinet.
Yeah, that was a wake up call. For me,
it is.
Yeah.
And so, and then it's been Xander's going to be 9 this summer. And so it's been a daily learning. I'm constantly learning about new health and new whatever. But yeah, that's kind of how it started. And it just kept, or I should say up. It was just more and more and more.
More of just a straight up.
Yes. And I
just,
I feel good. And I mean, I get constantly like, your kids are some of the healthiest kids ever. And yes, I think essential oils have a lot to do with it, but we also see the chiropractor. We also eat healthy. I am very big on them being active and like all the things. So it's like, it is not just one thing.
Right.
It's all of the things.
Each thing has its role.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're all important in their own respect.
Yeah. There was a guy that I listened to at a big conference that I went to. And one of the things that he had said, so his mom was some sort of a doctor, and he was like 26 or 7, I think. And he had said that he has never, ever had medicine. And it like just clicked something in my brain. And I was like, I would love for my kids to be able to say that. And not that I'm against it, but it's like, but if I can get an oil to work versus an antibiotic that's going to affect their stomach health or whatever, then yeah, I would love to do that. And so far we're doing good.
Nice.
Xander's almost 9 and has not even had a Tylenol. So
because like this guy who's 26 or 27, he's evidence that there's a way.
Right.
There's things that you can do to help give yourself a better chance
Yes.
at getting through unscathed.
Yeah. Well, and then I also am like, well, if my kids don't have medicine on the daily, then when they need it, if they need it, then it's going to work the way it needs to because their body's not bogged down with all of the other things. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, because like I said, I'm not against it. It's just not something that I want in their daily life.
Not something you want to rely on.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Because then you're leaving out the healthy lifestyle components that help you be at your best.
Right.
So, and that's, again, what this podcast is about growing.
Right.
And living up to a standard of excellence, being your best, you know? And so then you've got to take in all this information and figure out what's going to help you the most.
Right.
Healthy living is part of that.
Well, and I feel like growing up too, because it's like, gosh, like I didn't know what an avocado was, which I don't think they were super popular back then.
Not like now.
No.
Like
and
now.
I mean, I can't have them still because I'm allergic, but still it's like my kids love them. But it's just like, yeah, I want my kids to grow up. And I mean, I don't know an adult that drinks pop that doesn't say, I wish I didn't drink pop. Honestly.
Wow.
And so it's just like, why would I give that to my kids then? And like, cause it's such an addiction. And it's like, I don't want that. And I know a lot of the choices I make for myself would be a heck of a lot easier if I was just normal. And that was like how I was raised. So it's like, if my kids choose at 18 that they want to go drink a pop, go for it. But if I can do everything in my power to train them to be like, food is fuel, then that's good.
Amen.
So.
Amen.
Yeah.
And it's, so you're growing a human inside you.
Yeah.
And that was like, maybe I'll think about what I'm putting inside me.
Yes. Right? Yeah. That literally was a big life-changing moment for me. So.
I got to find it. One of the things that you posted that, I don't know if I'm going to find it quick enough, but it was something about, here it is. It was, you had just finished a workout and Isla was in the photo.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And then you're talking about and pushing myself to be my very best in my faith, my workouts, my business, being their mom, Michael's wife. But then if you don't have the motivation in yourself, then find it in someone else. Like your husband, your kids, they are your motivation.
Yeah. The days that I don't want to do it, you just do it. Because I don't get to choose today. I don't want to be a mom. I don't get to choose that. And I don't want my kids to ever look back and be like, gosh, mom, there was just days that she was just not there. It's like, I want my kids to grow up and know that like mom did everything in her power to make life easy. I mean, in a way, I mean, not that I don't want to protect them from everything.
Right.
Like I don't consider myself a helicopter mom. But at the same time, I want them to.
Helicopter mom. What's a helicopter mom?
That's a mom that hovers.
Like your kid never can like go in and like, don't get hurt. Don't do that. Where I'm like, if you do that and you get hurt, that's because you didn't listen to me.
It's basically like not letting your kids experience consequences.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah. And my kids know what consequences are. Yes. Yeah. I don't consider myself overprotective, but if I can also teach them like, okay, these are the things that are going to make your life easier. And when a hard moment passes, you are going to be able to get through it easier because you do know that like, it's just a season. And I love the saying that seasons are great because seasons change. So even if I'm in a rough moment, I can tell myself like, this is just a rough season and seasons are going to change. So it's going to get better. It might not be tomorrow. It might not be in a week, but it will get better.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Yeah. Seasons change.
Yeah.
Seasons change.
So yes, they are my motivation.
I love that.
Short.
Yeah. I love that, which is something that I kind of battled with because for a while, all of my exercise was performance based. And I never worked out for health until like getting out of school and sports and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, this is different. This is different. Like I'm having to really like actually drag myself up and pull myself through a workout because I'm not necessarily enjoying it like I used to because I was running fast and I was accomplishing things. And now it's just like, yeah, I need to make sure that I don't gain 20 pounds in that, you know, my body is in shape so I can adjust spines and be cognitively sharp all day long. And then I even had, supposed to be a chiropractor, supposed to be this big health guru. And I learned something so basic. It's like, it's way more powerful is my body belongs to my wife now, like exclusively. It's hers. So I want to take care of it for her so that I'm capable of doing what needs to be done for her. And now my kids, and now my clientele, and so on and so forth. And so it's that your post, the truth stuck out to me significantly. And you don't find a whole lot of truth on Facebook.
That's the truth.
Right. For sure. And it's just, I think that is a type of motivation that will never run out. And truly, it's like inspiration. Motivation, I've always heard, it's an external push. Inspiration is an internal pull. And that is inspiration right there.
Thank you.
For me, but then like for yourself to be continually inspired to work out is because it's not all about you.
Right.
And because then if it was all about you, that one day when you wake up and it's like, not feeling it, because it's all limited to you, you're not going to do it.
Right.
Until there's something else pulling you from the inside.
Yeah.
That's the way you get it done, I think. I would just want to encourage everybody to kind of, between their ears,
yes,
find the inspiration outside of yourself.
People don't understand how powerful their mindset is.
100%. Yeah. Attitude and mindset, 100%.
Yep.
So good job.
Thanks.
But how did you get here? Because this is again another thing that I recently just learned too, is that change will happen to you. It is inescapable. It's like a requirement of life, but growth is a choice. This was actually Karen Shannon in last week's podcast. She said that, and that woke me up too.
She's great.
She is great, and we should be very thankful she's in our school system, and just she is who she is, and that Greene County has her as a person. But then, I interviewed here and I interviewed you because I think you two are kind of on a similar chain. Come talk for a little while. What's going on?
So how did I get there? I didn't always have the best, like my dad was in prison most of my life. And so that, like, I guess I didn't have always that person to look up to. And like my stepdad and I like went through seasons of not super getting along and all the things. And so
Wait, you didn't have a perfect relationship with your parents?
No, I still don't. So, it's hard. I would like to. But I also feel like our version of perfect is not always ideal. Right. And so sometimes relationships have to be a little more surface to be perfect, if that makes sense. And so, so I didn't always have that to look up to. Like, I definitely didn't grow up. We were athletic, like we were in sports, and my brothers and I always were outside. Like, my parents were very big on like, go outside, go play. Like, we couldn't watch TV all day. We couldn't play video games, stuff like that. But it was not like we have to do this to stay healthy. And so like working out, I did always enjoy lifting weights. But it was never consistent for me until, I was probably like 20 something. And just one of my friends, her and I went to the gym every day and it was fun. But then it's like, then I stopped and then I started and then I stopped and then I started. And, about 2.5 years ago, I think it was, one of my friends, she did like the beach body workouts. And so she had asked like, hey, like we have this accountability group and like, do you want to be in it? And I was like, yeah, sure. That would be great. And that was really, really good for me because like my littles were small. And so going to the gym was not always possible because I'm a stay-at-home mom. And so this was great because I could get up, get it done before they got up, and it was what it was. And I always tried to do it before they got up. And then it hit me one day that I was like, okay, why am I not letting them see me do this? And so then it was like, okay, well, here's your breakfast. I'm going to work out in the living room. So then they watched me work out and then they would join me sometimes. And it's just, it is what it is. And I don't ever want it to be about like, mom's doing this because she wants to be skinny, because that's just not what I want. And growing up, I did get told that a lot. Like, oh, you would be so much prettier if you were 10 pounds lighter. I got told that.
Oh, really?
More times than I would like to admit. And from family members. I mean, and I don't think that they said it to be mean. I think it might have been like here's a little push. And I always grew up thinking that I was fat, honestly. And I look back at my pictures and I'm like, I was not. I was very average. Like, I was not like a stick skinny kid, but I was definitely not fat by
Sure.
any means. But I always grew up thinking that. And like at one point, my mom did an Atkins diet and I did it with her. I was 10. And now I look back and I was like, Lindsay and I were just talking about that. Like carbs, I feel like in my head were like, carbs are bad. Like, don't eat carbs. Like, that's what makes you fat. And then as an adult, it was just kind of like a meh, like eat whatever you want. And it's like, no, really, I have to like change my mindset. And I want my kids' mindsets to be changed. And so then it was just like, okay, well, we eat blueberries and strawberries and raspberries because they make us healthy and they make us strong. We don't eat dye because this, and I'm very honest with my kids. And so like with the workouts, I wanted them to see like mom's getting strong. And so they both, like Xander's obsessed, like he wants a 6-pack. It's like, well, mom's probably never going to have a 6-pack and that's okay. But like they'll like, so during this like lifestyle challenge, they saw me weighing myself every day because I was tracking it for the gym. And then they were weighing themselves and it hit me that I was like, shoot, they're going to think like, crap, mom's like wanting to lose weight. So Isla had jumped on and she's like, Mom, look. And like, I looked and I was like, oh my goodness, you're getting so strong. And her eyes just like lit up and she was just like, yeah, like look at my muscles. And Xander, same thing. Like it's not like I need to be skinny. It's, I'm doing this to be strong.
Yeah.
And then during, honestly, this lifestyle change really like hit me. I feel like this fall, or not this fall, but this winter when you started the thing at the rec. Because every time like I would lose weight and then gain it and then lose weight and then gain it no matter. And I've consistently worked out for 2.5 years, 5 to 6 days a week. Like that is not ever changed. But I literally prayed to God, like the beginning of January, like, okay, I am pretty controlling of the things that come in and out of my life, the food that goes in and out of my children's mouths. But for some reason, my head, I was just like, okay, all of the virtues that God wants us to have, why can I not have self-control with what goes into my mouth? Like, I don't understand this. And then I was just like, no, it's your choice. Like, you're choosing to eat this and not let your kids have that. Or you're choosing to have this when they go to bed so they don't see you eat it. And then it was just like, okay, this is stupid. Like, I have such a strong mindset when it comes to working out, my business, my children, my faith. Why can I not change the mindset with food? Because I do believe that I had a very terrible relationship with food. And it like literally changed. Like I just told my friends, one of my friends is great accountability partner. We work out together all the time. We're texting each other. Like if we do have a weak moment, we'll text a picture and be like, oh my gosh, I was just so weak. Like that's what it is. But it's just a moment. And then tomorrow you're going to do better. And so with that, it just started like falling off. And it's been easy, honestly. Like I'm not saying I didn't have hard moments, but there was like, even on my birthday, it was 2 days before the final weigh-in.
Oh.
And my husband and 3 of my friends just like surprised me. They all showed up, 3 desserts. And I'm like, oh, and my friend Danielle makes the best dessert ever. And I was like, oh my gosh. And they're like, birthday calories don't count. And I'm like, they do 2 days before final weigh-in. And so I didn't eat any. And they were all like, are you serious? You're not going to eat any? I said, save me a piece and I will have it Friday morning after my final weigh-in.
And you did?
And I did.
Yep.
I did. But then I was like, ugh. Now I feel nauseous because I hadn't for 2 months.
Right.
It probably tasted different, didn't it?
It did. It did. It was like good, but it wasn't like good.
Yeah.
Like I could have destroyed half that pan before. And this time it was like I had like a piece and I was like, okay, I'm done. Like I'm good.
Yeah. It's crazy how that is too.
Yeah.
When you get
And
rid of
so-
sugar for a while.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah. And I wouldn't even say I was a big sugar eater. Like I just don't. Like we don't have it in the house. But like if somebody brought me something, like when Danielle brings desserts, oh my Lanta.
Yeah.
I will eat 4 or 5 because I'm like, I never eat it. And then
Right.
it's like, but why can't you just have one? Like you need to just be able to have one. And it was every time I wanted that, I just kept saying like self-control is a virtue. Self-control is a virtue. And that comes in all aspects of life, not just other things. Like it includes the food. And I kept telling myself like, my body is a temple. And so, and honestly, it changed like in the last 3 months. I feel like in that aspect, I have finally dialed it in. And because I feel like that was like my last aspect that I didn't have control over.
So it's the biggest thing that happened to you in your lifestyle challenge was
mindset. And I'm known for that. Like I literally get asked to speak on mindset, like in my Zaya groups and in like other things. And I always have friends say that. They're like, I always have the chance to like switch it to a positive. But for that, like I said, I'm like, okay, I do though. Like I do have the mindset for this, but I am choosing and I'm telling myself like, you can't say no to that. Cause I would say that I'm like, I can't say no if somebody brings me a pan of brownies. No, I can. Right. And I did. Right. And I do. So not always. And I'm going to have it sometimes. Yeah. And that's okay. Cause I do believe that sometimes we have to.
Right.
80-20.
Yes. Yeah. So, right. Or when you do a lifestyle change, it's like 99 to 1.
Right. For sure.
I am very competitive though. So that helps.
So what are some of the things that you did? What, January 3rd lifestyle challenge started or somewhere
6th,
in there?
Yeah,
6th?
something like that.
January 6th started. What did you change?
So the only thing I changed in my workouts was I added spin.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Like I've always lifted. I do cardio. I do HIIT. I've still been doing Beachbody. But I started going to spin class and that really.
Is that with Kelly?
Yes.
Oh, Kelly.
Yeah, she's
Kelly
great.
Kicks butt.
She does. She does. And it is motivating being around because like it's nice and convenient to work at home, but there is just something about being in a group of other people and it pushes you. It's like, yes. Oh, she's going faster than me. And so, but that's my competitiveness. So it's good. But that's what changed in my workouts. And then it was really just my nutrition and telling myself like, I can have carbs. Like I was just telling Lindsay, I do carb cycling now. And so I do allow myself to have things, but I just make sure it's on those days. So
like Saturday, Sunday, you'll do it. Monday through Friday, you won't carb cycling.
See, I don't allow myself to have cheat weekends. Like,
okay,
I feel like that destroys. So like twice a week, I have like a medium carb day and then a higher carb day.
Okay.
And it's usually like 3 to 4 days apart.
Are you following somebody's thing or is this you've
So I worked with a nutritionist last summer.
Okay.
And she's the one that kind of helped me with that carb cycling.
Ames or Des Moines or just someone?
No, it was just somebody I found online.
Yeah.
And I just loved her. Yeah. And so, well, to be honest, I kind of had a harsh reality that I feel like I had an eating disorder.
Sure.
And I know I'm not the picture of an eating disorder because I wasn't I was binging, but I wasn't like binging and purging.
Right.
I was just like, I eat healthy all the time, but like I said, I'm not joking you. I could destroy half a pan of brownies and not think about it in the moment. And then I would hate myself for 4 days. Like, why did you do that? And so I had to admit to her and I was just like, cause she had me on this food plan and it hit me that one day cause she told me to eat like this much of this. And one of them was turkey burgers and I had to eat 2 without a bun. It was a low carb day. And the whole time I was eating my second turkey burger, I was telling myself like, why are you eating that? You're not hungry. You're fat. Like, why do you need to eat 2? Like, and I literally just sat back. I'm like, what is happening in my head? Like, I don't know what's happening in my head. And it hit me that I was like, oh my gosh, like I believe that I have an eating disorder. Like I just looked at food so wrong. Sure. And so I admitted that to her and she had an eating disorder and she said, yeah, I agree with you.
Sure.
And so I just had to tell myself like, it is okay to have this or that. But just not all the time.
Right.
And I didn't have it all the time, but it was still my mindset. And so she really helped me push through that aspect. Mm-hmm. And so, cause I don't eat pasta and she had me eat pasta and I was like, Brett, no, like I can't.
This is bad for me.
Yeah.
My body can't handle this.
Right. But I did because with her, I had to weigh myself every day cause she wanted me to see like if my body went up by eating this and like the one day, like I had pasta and the next morning I was down 0.1 pounds and she was like, see?
Yeah.
And so now it's just like, if I have like double cardio days, then that's my carb day. So.
Right on.
Yeah.
Double cardio day. Because like 2-a-day workout is not uncommon for you when you spin and do Beachbody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I also do Zumba with just friends, just for fun.
Yep.
So yeah, 2-a-days happen at least 3 times a week.
Well, so all I'm hearing you say there is just movement. All you're doing is moving your body.
Yeah. The kids and I are outside. We're riding bikes. We're walking.
Right.
All the things.
So it's 2-a-day workout. Like if you're listening to this, you're like, wow, she's hardcore, or I could never do that. Like I don't think that. Like you're just putting movement in your day. You're scheduling times to move your body.
Yes.
Because that is one of the essential things that our body was made to do is move.
And I include my family. Like,
yes.
Yeah. So like yesterday,
awesome.
they've been on spring break. And so the kids went to the gym with me. Xander shot basketball hoops and Isla literally brought a little thing of toys and just played on the mat while I worked out. So
should you do Murph twice a day? Like, no.
Oh my gosh. I can't do Murph once.
All those push-ups, pull-ups, and the running and all that. No. Should you CrossFit heavy for an hour twice a day? Not unless you're trying to get to the games. So like, it's not what I'm saying, but putting movement into your day is awesome. Yes.
And I feel so good.
Yeah.
I feel so good.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's therapy too.
Yes, it is.
The number one antidepressant in the entire world is exercise.
Yep. And it does. It makes me feel so good when I'm done.
Yeah, absolutely.
I never regret doing it. There are some days that it's just like, not today. And then I'm like, I always tell myself, like, you're not going to be mad at yourself for doing it. You will be mad at yourself tonight if you don't.
Right.
So
you were obviously moving your body, and it sounds like you had a couple of like food mental rules. You had a couple of guidelines that you stuck to.
Yep.
And one of them being you were doing some carb cycling.
Yep.
But then, like, did you stop eating at a certain point in the day, or did you try to give yourself like a fasting period?
Not intentionally, no. But I mean, I'm pretty scheduled, so like we typically eat supper around like 5:30 or 6, and then I've never liked to eat at night. Like I just feel like I sleep weird when I eat too late. Yeah. And then I go to spin early.
Sure.
And so typically I would have a half of a granola bar before I went. Otherwise I got really nauseous during spin. Yeah. And so yeah, I mean, technically
on an empty stomach is.
And normally I can, but spin
for women, for some reason, it's like a bigger deal than it is for men.
It never bothered me until I started spin. And then it was like, oh, hey, this is hard.
Yeah. Right.
So, but a full one was too much.
Yeah.
So I figured it's like a half of one is perfect at 5 a.m. Yeah.
Figure it out what works for you. What about like portion size too when you're eating? Was that something you became more conscious of?
Yes. But I feel like that is always something I have been good at.
Sure.
And so it was just the occasional binges that were insane.
Yeah.
And so, and I ate more often.
Sure. You did.
So yes.
More meals, more small meals, less.
Yeah. 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 Whether it just be a handful of almonds, or I love those little protein like packs with the cheese and the almonds. Like those are my favorite. And so I just, every single time when I go sit in the pickup lane, that's like, I grab one out of the fridge. It's just habit.
Yeah.
And so it's like at 3:00 every single day, I know I'm having one of those.
Right on.
And I look forward to it because they're good. And I like cheese.
Cheese is not evil.
No,
by any means.
For some people, but not for me.
Right.
I've done Whole30. I cut it out. It didn't affect me.
Sure.
So
that's
cheese
good.
was one thing that never bothered me. So
right. That was that something that the nutritionist recommended, to eat smaller meals more often, or?
So she had me on a actual like meal plan, and so I followed it. Like I can follow directions. That is a strong point of mine. And so she had me eating 5 times. So it was like breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner.
Yeah.
And so I just followed that, and I worked with her for about 6 weeks.
Right on. And
so I feel like it just got me in the habit of doing it.
Oh, you hit the nail on the head right there. Because that's Nathan and I. Nathan is awesome at the rec center, by the way. I'm a big Nathan Crawl fan.
Yes.
Because it's called a lifestyle challenge.
Right.
And we were talking about that and how like it should really be a portion where people learn habits and learn to continue them after the challenge is over. Because like, should you be doing the lifestyle challenge annually, trying to lose weight and trying to win the weight loss competition? Like, no, that's not the way it should be, you know? Right. And so we're trying to dream up ways to reconstruct it, so it's based on forming the habits and not just like, hey, come get weight in and lose weight and do that.
Right.
So we're trying to put in a fitness challenge into the next one too, to where like instead of weight loss being your only goal, which I heard you don't want to run. You don't want to run.
I physically can't run.
Yeah. Okay. So
my foot stops me from that.
One of the original ideas was you would post-test, you'd pre-test and post-test, and you'd post-test at the Bell Tower 5K run. And that the 5K would be one way that you could measure yourself. And maybe it still will be a way you can measure yourself, but we'll have other fitness challenges.
Right.
Like a classic rowing benchmark workout is a 2,000 meter row, which is supposed to, I think if you can get it under 8 minutes, you're like elite. So if for us normal people, like 12, 13, 14, 15 minutes, I'd have to check my time on what all that might be something, or you might just be like a bench press or a squat and some weightlifting things.
I love that.
Weightlifting?
Yeah.
You'd be more prone
Well,
to
and
that.
even the rowing, like rowing, spinning.
Yeah.
I don't mind the cardio, but running, it like hurts my foot so bad.
Yeah. Understood. Right. So in not like, I don't want to run 5K.
Right.
I don't want to run 5K.
No.
So, and then, you've got elements and it's outside and you've got a lot of issues. So even like a 500 meter row is more like a sprint.
Yeah.
And that would be a good test too.
Yeah. Do a
because
500 meter and then later like a 2,000.
That would be legit. That would be gold
good.
standard.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would do that.
I think the spin class would directly relate to that too.
Right.
Because spinning and rowing are not exactly equal, but they would build upon each other. So
Yeah.
You should do
Get your heart rate
a
up.
habit tracker. I don't know. Have you guys heard of John Acuff before?
no.
Yeah. I've
Okay.
seen him in person.
Yeah. He's awesome.
He is awesome.
He wrote a book about habits. Tyler bought it for me in like 2017. I read that book. That was the first year I did like a New Year's resolutions, and I tracked them all year. I was so impressed with myself by the end. I was like, look at all this stuff that I did.
Yes. That is
That's
one thing I
awesome.
learned over my lifetime too, is like,
Yeah.
stop trying to make other people proud.
Right.
Make yourself proud.
There
Seriously.
you go. There you go.
Like those goals were just for me. I
Yeah.
didn't tell anybody else about them.
Right.
I told Tyler. I was like, look, I'm tracking him.
Yep.
And then, I was so impressed. I read 12 books that year. I hated reading before that because it was always for school. But like I changed it and I was like, no, I want to read 12 books this year. And it was like, okay, done. Did it.
Yeah, I'm pretty stubborn when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Like, don't tell me to do something.
Right.
Right. What did you want to read for? Like you say, I want to read, but why?
Reading is good for you. I mean, it's good for like cognitive function and just keeping things moving. But like I was done with school at that point.
Sure.
So like didn't have a reason to read besides I wanted to. So I would like alternate between like fiction books and self-development books. And that was, it's fun. It's fun reading, number one. It's different entertainment than Netflix, which I'm a big Netflix watcher. I love TV and movies. They're so fun. But I noticed I was doing too much of it. So I like cut out some of that to put in some reading, but then also like personal development books. If I wasn't in, because I wasn't in a Bible study anymore, I wasn't being discipled one-on-one by another woman because I wasn't in college in the Navigators anymore. So it's like, okay, I have to take my self-development in like my own hands. So
would you say your self-development was really all about personal growth, or was it really even about improving yourself so that you were more contributive to your group and your people and your husband?
it's always about other people.
Right.
It has to be for me.
Sure.
If I'm doing it for me, like I'm not going to do it.
Because it's too easy to get out of if it's all
Seriously.
about you. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, if it's all about me, like that's not happening.
Right. Unless you're like obsessive, I
Right.
think. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think Elon Musk cares a whole lot, or Jeff Bezos cares a
Right.
whole. Well, and maybe they do. Maybe I'm totally wrong about
Right.
that. But
yeah, if that like baffled Tyler for a while when I wasn't going to the gym. I was like, I don't want to.
sure.
And then I was like, wait, it's not about me anymore. Like we're married. This is for Tyler. Like I'm gonna go to the gym to spend time with my husband, and like that's something he wants me to do with him.
Sure.
So
It
then-
feels good to feel good.
Right.
Feels good to be strong.
right.
But it like feels good to do
feels
it
better
for
to
your
do it for
husband.
somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. Habit tracker.
Yep.
I've also heard that it's best to like only try to install one habit at a time, like one
Mhm.
habit a month. Like you shouldn't try to overhaul your life
Right.
in 1 month.
Yeah.
You should. Is that the way the habit tracker works, or
It definitely up to you. Like I think I did 4 goals for the whole year, and like very reasonable. Because SMART goals, they have to be measurable. They have to be reasonable. Like I wasn't gonna try to read 52 books. The first year I decided to read books again. Like, that was dumb.
Right.
That would have been a dumb goal. Like, I would have failed at that and set myself up for failure. But like smart goals with a reasonable amount of time. Yeah.
So was there anything else that you did during this lifestyle challenge? Specifically, like, these are some of the rules or things that I'm going to do to make myself the most successful.
So I had 2 friends that we were like doing it together. And so we were like texting each other like daily, like workouts done.
Yep.
This is like, we had started even like sharing like what we were eating and stuff like that. And that's good for me. Like, I just posted in my group this morning, actually, like, if you don't have a good accountability partner or a friend that's going to push you to do better, get one. Like, it's so, and like, cause she said at the gym this morning, she's like, I looked at her, she said she looked at her husband and said, see how good having an accountability partner is? She goes, if Aubrey wasn't meeting me at the gym, I would have totally just gone back to bed. And so it's just, it's nice to have. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It's nice to have somebody. Well, and I did run a little bit this morning. We just did a 6-minute interval thing on the treadmill, and it was just like 20 seconds, 40 seconds type of thing that we followed. And the last one, we were like at the 20 and I was like, go 30. And so we ran for 30, and it's just like, okay. But I'm like, I probably wouldn't have done that if she wasn't there.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah. And I'm the one that said it.
Yeah.
So it's just sometimes it's like just having that person. It's like, we can do this together.
Yeah.
Like, let's do it.
You ever seen those montages of like a sports team in the weight room and one guy's like trying to hit something heavy and the entire team is just surrounding them?
Yeah.
Like,
do it.
Do it. Get it done.
Yes.
Which.
And then he does it and they're all like,
yes.
Those are fun.
Yes.
Those are fun. Like, it's like, yeah, I'm performing because my team has got me hyped right now.
Right.
Yeah. It's for them.
Yes, exactly. So it is fun. I'm trying to get my husband on board on that. He does not like to work out. No. He has a very physical job.
Right.
So I understand.
Yeah.
But
yes. Got to tear apart my engine and put it back.
Like, but we could be that couple. We could be.
We could live together.
Yes.
Still time to work on.
Yeah. Oh, I'll get him.
Oh, you'll get him.
I'll get him.
You'll get him. He did well.
Yeah, he did. He got, I think, 6th or 7th or something like that. And he only tried for like 4 weeks. And so I'm like, if you would have kept going, like, you probably would have won.
That's funny.
That's funny.
But yeah, he's going to do it again. I think.
Yeah. Good. Right on.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you were doing that you're not doing from the lifestyle challenge?
So, well, because I know it's restarting and because I'm darn competitive, my friend Kristen and I decided that we're going to maintain this month and not actively like try to lose. And so I have allowed myself a little bit more food than I would. No, I shouldn't even say food, different foods that I wasn't allowing myself. And so like I wasn't allowing basically any cheating at all.
Sure.
And this time it's like I totally had a cookie last night.
Right.
Totally.
Like when someone offers you a cookie, you're not going to be like, no, I'm waiting in 2 days.
Yeah.
You're gonna be
exactly.
Like, sounds good.
Right. And so like, and even when we were going out to eat, like I wasn't like one thing that we do every Sunday is pretty much we go to Mexican. And so like that whole time, like I was not even allowing myself chips and salsa, which is my kryptonite. Like I cannot say no to them typically, but I did not have chips and salsa and queso for 8 weeks. Yeah. And that was a struggle.
Dang.
But so like we went the other day and I did have some, like I didn't have as many.
Sure.
And so, but
chips and salsa.
Yeah. Yeah. It's my thing. I do love some chips and salsa.
Salsa does it well.
They do.
And the queso's free. Like,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And like we had tacos last night, like for our Friday night thing. That was what we did. We did a taco bar and we totally ordered some queso.
There you go.
So I ate queso last night. So yes, I'm changing a little bit, but I also don't want to like backtrack. Right. But it's I'm like, but 80-20. I know I can lose more. So come on, guys. Like April 1st, let's do this.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
But our workouts have not changed. So
still doing Beachbody, still doing all that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Is there anything else you would rather do, or you're like someday it's like, yeah, I'll try that, or is like what you got you think is sustainable for the next 5 years?
Yeah, I feel like what I'm doing now is very sustainable. Like I said, my workouts haven't changed a whole lot. Like my spin days. So in the very beginning of the lifestyle challenge, I was doing my same program, which was 6 days a week with Beachbody and spin
Sure.
and Zumba. And it was a little much.
Yeah.
And so then I told myself, like, you don't always have to do 3, like, or both. Like, you're doing spin instead of your Beachbody workout today.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so, cause it's an intense workout.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to burn myself out type of thing. And so I feel like where I'm at now is very, very sustainable. And so, and it doesn't take 5 hours a day type of thing.
Right.
But
That's good.
yeah, like I woke up this morning and it was just like, and I didn't even set an alarm. It was just my body woke up and it's like, okay, I'm going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
So
That was another thing. Did you stick to a bedtime, or I mean,
I always stick to a bedtime.
always?
I like to get up early, like,
Sure.
and so I am typically not in bed any later than 9:30.
Good for you.
That's
So,
impressive.
Good for you.
But I'm a goer, so I'm like always doing something. So by
True.
9:30, I'm like out, like
I mean,
peace
5:30 you're up.
world, huh?
5:30 you're up then.
Yes, yeah. Not well. Spin, I'm up at 4. It starts at 5, so.
You get up an hour before your workout. Good for you. Good for
Well,
you.
I have to like.
I'm that dude that's like starts at 6, 5:40 alarm.
Oh gosh, no.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible to me.
If I'm working out, like I'm okay with getting up and being out the door in 20 minutes. But if I'm going to go do something like work, I get up an hour and a half before I have to go to work. Like,
yeah.
just give myself time to get there.
Yeah, typically I'm like as long as I see a 4, if I wake up naturally, I'm awake. And then daylight savings hit, and my friend reminded me, she's like, you realize that means we're getting up at 3. And I was like, don't say that.
Yeah.
That hurts. So no, I do, like, my ideal day is to be up at 5 and then do my devotional, drink my pre-workout, go work out, and then like go on with my day. But yeah, spin is obviously, it starts at 5.
Sure.
And so,
Right.
and it's like, boom, we're done. Like, you're in. So
Right.
it's like, I need to be warmed up. So I typically
Yes.
go walk
Yes.
several laps before spin class starts.
That makes sense.
It's a good idea.
Because
Great
otherwise
idea.
my hips are like, hey, what
Good
are
morning.
you doing?
Right. That's
So
funny.
yes.
Yeah.
But no, so I do. But I can also, like, on the weekends, like when our friends are over, of course I stay up later. Like, I'm not like dragging. But when they're gone, I'm like, there's my pillow. I'm going to bed.
Good night.
Yes.
So this is good. Like you saw is this your first lifestyle challenge that you've ever done at the rec center?
Yes.
What drew you in? What drew you into it?
Well, so my friends and I had already talked about like doing like this accountability thing, and I've had like different accountability groups over the years. And we, like, our Beachbody one, we check in every day. Like, you just post your sweaty selfie. And so that I got used to checking in. And then I saw that and I was like, and I know how competitive I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just like, this would be good for me. And then my friend, we had talked about it too. And so it's like, well, let's just do it together. And then we conned Michael into joining.
Right.
And yeah, he did. I mean, it is easier when your spouse is on board. So, but they eat what I make. So
Right.
that's never not been a thing.
Right.
So
it was the accountability format or the
yeah.
okay.
Well, and just, yeah, the accountability and just like, I like a little bit of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I love that saying. I know, gosh, I'm going to mess it up, but it's like a pressure makes a diamond or something like that. Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly the words, but I like that little bit of pressure. Like, I have to weigh in front of them. The chiropractor that's a health freak.
Right.
I have to weigh
Right.
in front of him. And so that's just a good amount of pressure. Not like uncomfortable, but just a good amount.
Do you think it could have been uncomfortable, or like
I'm
made
sure
it?
for some people, but once again, I'm not intimidated by a whole lot.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure some people are like, heck
Right.
no, I'm not doing that.
And that probably steered people away from even doing it
Right.
at all. Sure. Yeah.
Right. Well, and I feel like women especially, they're like, I don't want to weigh in front of a guy.
Right.
Like, I have
think
lots
that's
of friends.
Yeah, I think that's such a weird.
I do too.
I'm like, why? You just weigh what you weigh.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it is just, and I'm like that. Like, I remember that first day of the scan, you're like, you're taking this so well. And I'm like, I'm not in denial. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I ask some people and they'd be like, oh, I weigh this much. And they're whispering. And I'm like, okay.
yeah. Yeah.
I don't care what you weigh.
Right,
I'm just here
exactly.
to take your numbers.
Yes. Just doing my job.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're getting into what the real epidemic of America is uncomfortable with self.
Right.
And
Right.
your weight is part of that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an epidemic of no confidence.
Right.
It's an epidemic of no self-esteem. And
Right.
your body is just like a result of what's going on between your ears, you know?
Right.
Right.
So when we do this test that we do with every new patient at the office, like we have to know your height, we have to know your weight. So we have to ask. And normally, like, my phrase is just, is it okay if I ask you how much you weigh? That's just how I say.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't say, so how much do you weigh? Because I almost always would get kind of a sheepish response.
Oh, I guess I think it's about this right now.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I just say, is it okay if I ask you how much you weigh? And then they usually tell me with a little less ashamedness. But that has really struck me over the years too, because it's like, I mean, everyone knows. Everyone wants to be a little bit healthier.
Right.
Everyone wants to drop those extra 5-10 pounds, and either they don't know how or they don't think they can,
Yes.
or they've done it and then they don't have the time because life is crazy.
And it can be
sometimes.
intimidating if you're here and you want to be here. Like that.
Right.
It's like they can't see the in between. And it's
Right.
like they just look at their end goal, and it's like that's not always like I had a goal like with the lifestyle challenge. Like I told my 2 girls, I'm like, this is where I want to be, but that's just between us. Like, but that's like a doable thing. And so it was just, I told you, I think 2 years ago, this is what I weigh and it's annoying. Do you remember that?
I think so. Yep. For sure.
Because I'm like, I do eat healthy and I do work
Yeah.
out. Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But I've never been in denial about it. But that's one thing I can say. Like, I have been just as confident when I'm 20 pounds heavier and when I'm 20 pounds lighter.
Right.
I don't care what you think. I
Right.
care what I think, and
Right.
I care about what I feel like.
Right.
So,
Well, and then your only goal of the lifestyle challenge shouldn't necessarily be the end goal. Do you know who Coach K is for
No.
the Duke men's basketball? He there's a video of him, and he's got his entire team sitting down, and he's kind of like lecturing them, like he's upset about something, and he goes, "You should love the gym," because I think it was a lot about stardom and a lot about being the guy making the last shot, and he said, all that's good, but you should love the gym, because rarely has there ever been anybody who has been a star who hasn't had to go through massive hours of work and sweat in the gym
Right.
to get there. And so if you want this goal over here, then you need to fall in love with the process. And that has really struck out to me too, is because like your goal should be the daily stuff,
right.
your
Right.
checklist, your
On the
sweaty
progress.
selfie.
Yeah.
hmm
Progress is important.
Correct. Yes. But you can't have that progress unless you have a step-by-step kind of daily goal.
Right.
Which is going to help you get to your end goal. If all your goal is like, I want to lose 20 pounds, there's no active steps to get there,
Yes.
you're asking for failure too.
Right.
Right.
So that's something I hope this next lifestyle challenge can be upfront and personal with that. Like,
Yeah.
what's your plan?
Yeah. Well, one thing I was kind of hoping that you guys would do would be like before and after pictures, because we did that. Like so my friends and I took measurements every Friday. Like we would go away with you guys, and then we would come home,
Sure.
take measurements, and then we also took before and afters.
Oh, wow.
And my before and afters were like, because you watch yourself slowly change, but it's still not like,
Right.
oh wow. And then when I took my pictures, I was like, oh
Oh.
wow, like holy cow.
Yeah.
And it was actually, I'm not emotional, and I almost started crying because I was like, holy crap.
I did that.
That was, yeah.
Yeah.
And like in 9 weeks.
Right.
And it's like, if I keep going, like,
Clothed, right? I mean, you were just the same
I was
outfit.
in a swimsuit. Yeah.
Okay.
Same exact swimsuit.
Got it.
Yeah.
I was wondering if that was too personal to like have me take your photo.
Right.
Or
Well, you
if-
don't have to do even swimsuit. They could even just wear shorts and a tank
Right.
top. I mean,
You just have to have the same outfit.
Right.
Yeah.
Usually makes it a little bit easier to
Yes.
see
Right.
the difference.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to consider that
Yeah.
one way.
I
or
and I
not.
feel like that's good for other people, because it's like
Right.
some people the scale doesn't change. And
Right.
so like my other friend that did it,
Yeah.
she only lost I think she said 5 pounds, but like her measurements, and she's like, my muscle
Yeah.
changed a lot.
Uh-huh.
And
Yes.
so
That's why weight's not always like a
Right.
great measurement of health.
right.
Because sometimes you get a ton of muscle
Yes.
in 8 weeks and
Yeah.
lose a bunch of fat, but you weigh the same
Yes.
by the time you're done.
And so those pictures, I feel like I can see in my face, like big time.
Mhm.
Like when I look at my pictures from Christmas to now, it's
Sure.
like, dang.
Right.
But
Well, it's awesome that it's March of 2022 and you've already kind of got that checked off. Like you can go live the rest of the year
Oh no.
with your new.
Oh no, we're doing it again.
Oh, well,
April
yeah. You know,
We're going
but
again.
it's just good to get out there hot
Yes.
early in the year
Yes.
and like achieve something
Yes.
that you can build upon for the
For
rest
sure.
of the year. Doing it again. You've got me pumped up. I'm really excited now. I'm gonna have to call
Ready to go
Nathan.
work out?
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Do some rowing.
We'll
Yeah.
get Michael up there.
Yeah.
I tried to get him this morning and he was like, no.
Got to work on.
He went shed hunting with children. So
There you
they're
go.
walking.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
that's exercise.
Yes, it is.
My dog's got me out of bed this
He's
morning.
active. He's just like,
Yeah.
lifting weights is not his thing.
Right.
There you go.
So he's at least hitting that goal then.
Yeah.
Okay, so something else. What are we at, an hour?
105.
Oh, does it feel like it's been an hour and 5 minutes?
No,
No?
I told you I could talk.
Right. Anyway, this was the other thing that really struck me. This was the, do you remember this too?
Yep.
Because I can relate to this
Yeah.
to a degree. And your quote, and you had this explanation. I just saw a quote that said, I don't know if I'm strong or numb. That's real, period. And like, I think a lot of people, this is reality.
Yes.
They become numb
Mhm.
to the things that have been the fiery darts that have been over and over and over again. And it's like, yeah, I can't even handle it anymore. So instead of dealing with it, it's just numb.
Yeah.
And this big monkey or this suitcase is now being lugged around by you on your back because it's like, well, this is just the way it is now.
Right.
And then you know what I mean? And
Yep.
never gets dealt with. So you're numb and you constantly have this thing until I feel like a lot of times what this made me think of is that it's all coming like a volcano about to erupt.
Yep.
And someday you're going to feel everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just going to have one of those days where your life falls apart. Which,
Yes.
have you had one of those days before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Do you,
It's like one little thing, and
Yep.
you're
Mhm.
like, and then people are like, why are you reacting so like this over that? And it's like, but it's not just that.
it's the
The
tip of the
buildup.
iceberg.
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
So not that, Aubrey, like this is what you hang your hat on. It's just, let's talk about that a little bit. I don't know if I'm strong or I'm numb. What made you post
Yeah.
that?
So I get told a lot, like, you're so strong. Cause and like I just said a little bit ago, like, I don't really cry. And so Michael always jokes that I have a black heart. And, but anybody that knows me knows that I don't. Like, I'm very empathetic, but just because I'm not crying about it doesn't mean I don't feel it. And I also feel like there are so many people that use tears to their advantage. And they will cry because it's like, well, if I cry, it's going to make you feel bad. And it's just like, no, I don't play that game. And so, yeah, there are a lot of things that happened in my life that did make me numb. And because it's just like, well, I'm going to become numb so you can't hurt me. And like I mentioned, my dad was in prison. And so it was a constant like, oh, well, when I get out, we're going to have a good relationship. And then he got out and it wasn't. And then he went back in and would send letters. Oh, we're going to have such a good relationship. And I want that daddy-daughter relationship. And then he got out and it was just like, but is that really how much I mean to you? Like that you're choosing this over me? And so that was one of the things that then I became numb because it was just like, oh, he's in prison again. What's new? It wasn't, I no longer was getting even sad and like, this sounds terrible, but I would see a mugshot of him and I'm like, he deserved it. Like just, it was what it was. And I kind of like laughed about it. And then it kind of hit me one day that I was like, have I truly forgiven my dad? And cause I'm like, I don't think about him. I don't think he affects my daily life because I don't see him. I don't talk to him. But then it was just like, but those things can carry into your life. And I also don't want to generational curse, like bring that into my children type of thing.
Right.
And so I had to choose to forgive him genuinely. And I didn't know. It's like you never know until they see you because it's like, well, sometimes that still hurts. And I'm mad at you again because you hurt me again. But does that mean that I didn't forgive you from the past? And it was a hard reality for me to like fully accept. But then he ended up going back to prison. And one of my family members sent me his mugshot. And my first thought was not like, he deserved that. My first thought was, he looks so sad. And that it hit me that I was like, oh my gosh, like that's the first time I felt bad for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, gosh dang, you've got 3 amazing kids and we're all pretty cool. And like our kids are awesome. And like you chose drugs over me. But now I can feel bad for you because this is what you've missed out on. This is no longer about what I've missed out on. This is what you've missed out on. And so, yes, there are still days that I'm numb. There are. Like I would be in denial if I said that I wasn't, like, I just don't think about it. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't affect me.
Sure.
And so, like, there are triggers that it's just like, oh, like it used to bother me every time I went to a wedding and I saw like a daddy-daughter dance. And I didn't get that. But I did get a dance with my brother. Or all 4 of my brothers. So I had my one brother walk me down the aisle and then him and I were going to dance and then all of them came up and they lined up. So it was funny and it was lighthearted and it was good and I needed that. But now I no longer sit in the past. I look at my husband and my daughter and I'm like, I can't wait to see them experience that. And I feel like I did break that generational curse where I'm like, I'm not going to sit in my misery. I'm not going to sit in my sadness. I'm going to choose to do better and to make a new life and a new future for my children. And so I do get told like, oh, you're so strong. And it's like, okay, but I'm strong because I had to be. Mm-hmm. And now I do believe that I am strong emotionally and I can handle things. Does that mean that I'm strong all the time? Absolutely not. There are times that stress just gets to me and it's just like, okay, life is not perfect. Because I get told that a lot. Like, oh, you've just had such a perfect life. And I just kind of smile and I nod and I say, okay.
If you only knew.
You can think that. But then I'm like, but you're right. My life is pretty perfect now.
Sure.
I love my life.
Sure.
I'm very happy. And my smile is very genuine.
Sure.
And I don't just smile through the pain. But it's like, my life now is perfect because of the things that I went through. Mm-hmm. But I also don't have to share everything about my life and get your sympathy because I sure as heck don't like that. Like, no. So I'm I feel like hard when it comes to people using their past as an excuse. Because it's just like, yeah, I went through that too. But guess what? I chose not to have daddy issues. Right. Guess what? I chose not to have boyfriend issues. I chose not to choose drugs over that because that is a lot in my family. That's not just my dad. Like we've had a lot of addiction in our family and still do. And I choose to be better. Sure. I choose to break that curse and to teach my kids that like that doesn't have to be normal. So yes, so I am strong, but there's always a story. Yeah. But just because you don't know my story doesn't mean that it doesn't affect me. And I don't need you to know type of thing.
Well, thanks for sharing that much right there. I mean, that was good.
Good.
That was good. I mean, I think there's so many things to relate to on that. I mean, the fact is that everyone does have a story.
Yes.
And not every day has always been perfect.
Right.
There's that movie Encanto.
Yeah.
Right. And one of the sisters is considered to be, perfect, and all she does is make perfect flowers. And she's like, listen, it's not that way. And Disney movies can wake you up sometimes.
Right.
But,
I'm glad you.
Yeah, people think that
those.
if your life is perfect, it's because everything was easy for you. Right. And it's just like, no, not at all.
You got to work for it to be that way.
Everything is you have to work for.
Yeah.
Even if things were easy for you, I mean, at some point there's going to be one thing that's going to be hard, and you're not going to know how to deal with it because everything was easy. Mm-hmm. And so
life was not handed to me on a golden platter. Right. Not at all.
Well, because of that, you've done things, you've been places, and you've become an effective person. Mm-hmm. And you've figured out how to maximize your life and your life's potential. And
right.
To that, I'll always be like, well done. And you should go teach other people how to let other people learn from what you've been through so that they can go leg up,
Yeah.
And that's one thing that my dad, I feel like, has taught me too, because he talks about how he never realized how poor they were until he got a little older and was looking back at like, oh yeah, I mean, some of the things that we did because we had no money.
Right.
And their vacations and their camping trips and what they did for entertainment and things. But then he has worked his butt off. He and my mom, both of them have been an amazing team together to put this platform so that each of their kids and my 2 sisters could go a leap forward. So I'm looking where I'm at right now, and it's like I have goals and things that I want to hit, places I want to be, but generationally, like what you're talking about generationally here, he's laid the foundation so that my kids can even go farther than I did, sooner and quicker and better, and be more effective people for the world as well. And so like that's keying in on me too, that generationally, that's very important. What you're doing is setting the stage for your kids to be extremely effective people in the circle that they're going to influence. Because if there's anything that we could call a Greene County influencer, it's probably you. You're as close as anything that there is. The kind of the people, your reach, and what you do on social marketing, and then your businesses, and how you treat people, and then the model of the person you are. Like when people look at you, I think they can be influenced in a positive way. Like I'm okay with you being a Greene County influencer. If other counties want to look at what's Greene County all about, well, go check out Aubrey Rossmanith and see how you feel about it. And I'm going to be happy with what you're putting out there. You know,
Thank you.
Good job.
Thanks.
I'm just looking for stuff like that. That's just how I work now with the podcast.
No,
is
that's
like
good.
When people are doing things and having success, I want to know how you got there.
Yeah.
I want to know how you can help other people. And I feel like that's the responsibility you have now, is you have to guide and lead other people. But you've been doing it for years. So
Yeah, I feel like a lot of that came from I just truly embraced who God made me. And it's like God didn't make me the person that sits in the corner.
right
So,
on.
and it sometimes puts me in a bad spotlight because there are people that like then want to destroy you. It's like whether that be jealousy or just, I don't even know.
That's true.
It's just, so sometimes I get attacked and I just have to try to rise above it and just choose well.
Choose
Right.
to be better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there are cave people out there, people who complain about virtually everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just can't win everything.
No.
And
Can't
that's hard for me because I don't lose. That's hard. Like I don't like to lose. Like I should say that. I shouldn't say I don't lose. I don't like to lose. Whether that be like if you truly think I did something to you, let me fix it. But then I have to realize like I can't fix everything and I have to be okay with that. And so that took me a long time to get. I'm good now. Like it's like I'm not gonna lie, like there are days that it's like like darn it, but then it's just like nope, tomorrow is gonna be better and I'm going to pray for them and I'm gonna move on. So
you're saying your Friday night game nights get pretty competitive sometimes then too?
all the time. there was some conversations over Pictionary last night.
Okay all right,
so I'm not the only competitive one.
that's pretty bougie, let me tell you, Aubrey. Yep.
It's fun.
Good. Anything else you want to say now that you're here, now that you've been in the studio?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was a little shocked when you asked me.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks.
Fun, right?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what to expect.
Right.
So I was like, oh, my Lanta.
Just conversation.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, it was good. It was
Putting
easy.
something out there, easy. Yeah.
It was easy.
Gosh, it's
Just
good.
conversation on camera.
Conversation on camera. That's all it is.
Not
Just
horrible.
something that you record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I hope that somebody can be inspired by what I say. So.
Absolutely. For sure. That's the goal. Health, love and relationships, time, energy, money, career calling, or your pursuit of passion. 4 big areas of life. I think we really covered about all of them and what has helped you been successful and relatable as a human being.
Perfect.
Episode 26. Aubrey Rossmanith, Lindsay Wathen. I've been Philip. You'll see Isaac here soon. He'll be back. But till then, signing off. Have a good day.